Welcome back to our vintage episode 32. On the previous episode, we had a pallet of peas that wouldn't fill into our truck, but guess what? It now has. I just tried it. It went in, so perfect. We'll get this sold. I was hoping that would happen as soon as we loaded back in, so it cleared out whatever was causing the issue. We got tons of sales to do in this episode. It's real exciting because we're going to be making a ton of money. We're also probably going to end up loading the carrots the same way like this, I think. It only makes sense instead of dealing with the pallets. We can do it in bulk. Let's do it in bulk. Obviously, that's what the places like to accept it as anyway. So we might as well do that. We're going to have tons of silage to sell. And yeah, that'll be in the bales. It's a lot. But we will make some profit. There's also some pigs that are ready to sell. There's another batch of them. So again, another about 3,500-ish. Yeah, another lot of pigs are ready to go as well. 2,500 here. Like I said, we have... I'm trying to keep track of, well, we're in December right now. Peas are done. We did the potatoes already, so we could probably move on to January, but I think what we will do is we will sell those pigs. There's 4 of them. And then I guess we should probably almost be good for a while there. We'll go ahead and take care of that. Let's see. Yeah, we'll just park this over here. We're probably going to sell all that corn we also harvested out of our fields. There's no point in us keeping it because currently we have... How much is in our production? Yeah, all kinds. We're good for pigs, and that's just water. It's like costing us nothing to do. There's some straw here as well that ain't being used. So we could... Let's see, when we sell that, when does that sell? That's in January. We could take that load and then empty that out, because there's no point of it staying in there. It kind of like works as a distribution kind of setup. But we don't need that for this playthrough, so we might as well sell that. Let's grab the farm all. And we'll hook up our animal trailer. Yeah, I'm trying to think of how much longer we're going to run this series. I'm really still enjoying it. We are getting quite a bit ahead here. Like, a lot of the money we're making at this point, we're saving just to bring with us to our next series, which will be in a Brazilian map, which will be freaking awesome. Because I want to try the different, you know, environments like that. But we're also going to get money for, like I said, all of our equipment we have. And then also the land. I mean, reasonable, because I think this land is a little bit bigger than what we're using. But we'll have to have a look at it, kind of get a decent evaluation. But we definitely want to be set up for success on the next series. But at the same time, it's like one of those series you kind of don't want to have be too up, like new. You kind of want something old and run down, because that's kind of like what Brazil is like. Okay, let's do 24. I guess we could just make a super farm. And then people can rob us or be jealous of us. Alright. 4 out of 4. Let's get these guys sold. And now we don't have to worry about pigs for a little while. Here we are. All 4 sell 10 grand. Bam, we're almost up to 100K. There's Uma waiting for our arrival. Well behaved. Yeah, I think we'll get this put back in its spot here, and then we'll go ahead and take a nap. We might as well hook up our, let's see, January. What are we going to sell first? Probably those carrots, maybe. But we, like I said, we got silage that's also going to have to be sold. Might as well hook up our trailer. Or no, we were using the truck to sell them, weren't we? Yeah, it only makes sense to use the truck. We'll put this in the shed. It would be nice if that trailer, I know I've said this before, but it'd be nice if that really hooked up to the truck and we could do both, and we could sell them like pretty much all at once. Save a lot of time. Alright. So we should be good. Let's go ahead and take a nap. There wasn't anything in the sales, right? Like I said, nice. But I don't think we need to buy another tractor. I think we should save what we have, unless we really... trying to think if we ever get to the point where we really need one. I think our fields are small enough, or just the 2 is fine with what we need for our requirements, you know? Alright, welcome to January. It is snowing. And our carrots will be going to the soup factory. So let's go ahead and tag that. That's actually not that far away. And then we're going to load these in bulk in the truck, so we don't have to worry about pallets, which will be very nice. No, not potatoes. We want carrots. Start. It's actually going to let us load them all, I think, that way. Look at that. So, wow. That worked great. And we'll see, we should be able to do every pallet individually when we get to that point. This definitely beats picking up all those pallets with the skid steer, which we had so much problems with. I guess we didn't really have that many problems, but we had a problem with the peas not unloading. We'll see if the carrots give us trouble, but definitely can streamline the process. It's a better way to go. Yeah, the soup factory is basically our neighbor. It's a really nice place where I put the farm because everything's like really close for the most part. Okay. And they accept. Bam. Above 100K. $3,000, yes, those 3, 7, almost 3,800 for a load. Okay, let's do a short time lapse and we'll get them all sold. Okay, so unfortunately, the pallets are not loading into the truck. I think what I'm going to try to do is we'll sell this, what we have in the truck here, and then we'll come back and see if that works. If not, we will have to save and close out and then load back in, and then it should hopefully let us. If not, we're going to have to sell the pallets, I guess. Which I think the soup factory, I think that would accept it, because in game, that's base game with the when it loads those pallets like that for the carrots, it should accept it at the point or a point somewhere on the map, not necessarily at the soup factory, but we'll just see if this will work. Also noticed here when we leave the soup factory that can't remember if on 22 if that curb didn't stick up like that. Right here. Not really a driveway, it kind of like should have been a little higher there, and it's not. I'm thinking it was smoothed out on 22, but Don't quote me on that. Okay, let's give this another shot. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it will work. It does not. So let's go ahead and we'll save it real quick. What is it? Oh, these are the grapes. That's right. We turned grapes on. That's kind of cool. Those will come out in pallets. Let's go ahead and we'll save it. And then we'll come back in. I always like to double save. We'll come, load back in. We'll see if it works. Okay, we have loaded back in where we were. We'll see if this works. If not, we'll just configure it as a flatbed. Although I think we gotta deliver... Yeah, it's not... Yeah, it's a shame. Carrots don't do that. Unfortunately. Let's see here. What else did we have to sell before we configure that? There's some straw we could sell. Our corn. So we could take care of that. It'll go to the grain mill. Silage ain't until March, along with our honey. So to prevent swapping the sides too much, let's go ahead and sell the corn. And then we can do... Let's actually do that straw first, get that out of that greenhouse. It ain't much. It was one bale that I thought we needed, but we didn't. There it is, 3,000. Yep, that all fit perfect. We'll sell this right to the farmer's market right across from us. Make it easy and simple. That way our numbers are right too for when we look at our straw bales when we start making more. We got the was it barley or wheat we've planted that we'll be making straw bales off of. And we know exactly what that'll be worth. I don't mind, like I said, stacking those up for a while in our shed. Yeah, this will hardly be worth anything. Oh, one more down maybe. Right in here. Will it let us? Straw. There we go. Hardly gonna be worth anything. $472. Yeah, that was a make or break it situation. Checking out, coming in this side, are new lime bins in there. It's kind of nice to look at. I like the rusted look. Okay, so we got quite a bit of corn here. Oops. Why is it giving me potatoes? Okay, that's loading from the pallets in the shed. Let's dump these into the pig pen and let's try to get over just a little bit farther. If they didn't take them, we'd have to force dump them. Hopefully it won't do it again. Alright, let's move them forward to the... Let's see... to the front of the shed here. I don't know why it would do that when you got the spout right there. It's like... Is it trying to make it hard for us? Okay, let's hope that works. I mean, the spout... We gotta dump this now again. They probably need to be topped up anyway. And now it's doing the corn. And I know that's coming from our pallets and not the silo because it didn't ask us what we want to put in, because we do have some soybeans in there as well. Okay. Now can I do it again since we have... Now it's doing potatoes again. Okay, so we've moved them completely out of the shed. in the way of the road. And we'll see if it'll let us get the actual stuff from the silo this time. I don't know why it's got to be that way. There we go. Now it finally works. So yeah, corn, 10,000 that we got to get. This will be selling where? Corn. Grain mill. Should be worth a good penny too. We'll have to come back for one more load. But we can head up to the grain mill.
Cold in the winter. 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 Cold in the winter.
This worked out perfect for the pallets. I'm surprised it actually took it, but like I said, it was base game, so it should work. Let's see what our total was for sales this month. Sold products. So we had 22,700 in December, and then we got 23,194. We also have a harvest income here, which is, I'm trying to think what that was. Miscellaneous. Yeah, so maybe these are broken up a little bit. Regardless, we're sitting at 142,000. Very, very nice. So I think what we'll do is get back to the farm, we'll take a nap, and then we'll get into March. So we're actually going to have to skip a month. And we will get on to our silage selling. Going to be a lot, and we'll just have to do a nice time lapse of that, and I think that'll probably finish the episode out. And then we can start fresh on the next one with the honey sale, and then get into what we're going to plant this year. I'm almost thinking this may have to be our last year on this farm. It's sad to say, but yeah, we need this over here. It's sad to say, but I think we're going to be doing pretty good, especially after we sell the equipment and then the farmland. It only makes sense to let's put it this way, we'll have to just spin around. It only makes sense to take what we got and then go start our next map, I think. Otherwise we're gonna have a ridiculous amount, which ain't bad either. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Maybe we'll go longer, but I'm thinking it might just be one more year. This time we sell the products from what we harvest. That'll be, you know, long into our next year, I guess. I do want to try the quad out on the snow here before we take a nap. I was sliding in the skid steer. It'd be funny to see how much this is going to slide. If it'll even slide. It's actually... seems like it's got quite the traction. I guess we kind of just like... You try to steer and it doesn't steer the best. Kind of goes straight. Let's try it in third person. Maybe it's funner in third. Yeah, you just kind of slide straight. I was hoping the back end would slide, not the front. So yeah, not as good as I thought it was going to be. Unfortunately, but we had to try it. It had to be done. I'm sure some people in the audience are wondering. And there you go. I actually want to park this way so it's not sticking out when we have to get in or out of the implements when we hook up. There we go, let's try that. Okay, let's take that nap. Okay, we have made it to March. Looks like we have some hail coming in the forecast. What time is that supposed to hit us? I actually don't see any on the extended forecast. Well, that's interesting. 8. Yeah, I don't know. It must be just like 1 hour in between here whenever the one we can't see. Okay, so the silage will be going to the animal dealer. I'm going to mark that just so we know where the drop point is. I think it's, yeah, it would be right on the side of the building, I guess. So that's looking good there. How did our cows do? Because they were out of food, but I had, oh, they're going to need water too. I had faith that the meadow was going to grow, and it has, and they'll start eating that. It was 1 month they kind of went without food. Ideally, we probably should have fed them. But I mean, we got 6 months until they sell. So I think we'll be all right. But we'll have to get them water. We'll probably do that in the next episode. I really want to get this silage sold before we close out the episode here. Yeah, then the honey, of course. They're a nice small task for the next episode. So yeah, we have to get these... We can start here, I guess. Get these cut open. And get them loaded up. Oh yeah, what does the sales look like? Yeah, nothing really of use. Yeah, like I said, we're kind of to the point in this playthrough where we're just stacking the cash. I suppose the chickens are out of food too if I had to... No, I guess we got a little bit yet. Stacking the cash for the next series. I will say, shout out to the viewer that suggested to stack the bales the other way. Because we got, on our other load, 10 bales on versus the 6 that we were originally getting. So it did make a big difference. I just remembered that as I was loading the second load, I was like, oh yeah, that's right. A viewer suggested we try it the other way, and sure enough, made a big difference. Here we go. Last set. Another 8,000. Look at how much. We're up to 174,000. How much was that total for bales sold? 29,467. What a productive episode. Okay, so we will leave it there. Obviously, the hail came in. Shouldn't last that long. And then we'll have to get our greenhouses uncovered for the year so they can have some nice sunshine. And then we'll go from there. We obviously have some honey to sell, and then we got to feed the... Well, we got to top up some of the animals, and then they need water as well. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you on the next one, probably after the hailstorm here.